Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's Work in Progress Wednesday, we've got Jeff Jarrett. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back, and like I said, today I am adding my first Jeff Jarrett to my collection. Of all the figures I have, Jeff Jarrett is a custom I've never gotten around to or had a chance to make. Part of it was just that I didn't have a head sculpt available to me. He's got a few different figures, but most of his figures are in the Jakks Bone Crunchers line, which were, they used the same head for Jeff Jarrett as they did for Owen Hart, and it was not a great likeness. And then his other figures were from his time in TNA, I believe, and the head scans were huge, and they didn't look good on the bodies, so I never picked one of those up. I finally picked this head up from Head Gimmicks a while back, and I messed around with a few different formulas, but this is kind of where I settled. I was pretty happy with this. So what I ended up doing was taking a British Bulldog torso to give him a little bit of a bigger torso. I don't know if it necessarily needs to be this big. The Tully Blanchard Arn Anderson torso I think is a good one, but I wanted to do it in this tan color skin tone, and then with the legs, so I wanted to use these trunks legs as well, but they only have them in this skin tone in the Tyson Kidd mold, and they're pretty small, so I thought that this torso gave him a little bit more size, which was a little more fitting for Jeff Jarrett. But then the calves, I can't remember exactly who they came from, maybe a Ric Flair Elite, and then the arms are just some double jointed arms that I got from one of my extra X-Pac figures. So got to paint up the head here, but then I've got the red and silver decals. So when I cut these, I'm going to cut pretty close to the red just because his tights were more like silver metallic, but these should be pretty easy to apply. There's not much to it. Just really gotta, I'm going to paint it all this flat gray, and I'm even going to do like a layer of flat gray over these knee pads, and same with the tights, and then I will go over it with a metallic silver that I have to give him the look that I'm going for. But then I'll finally have a Jeff Jarrett in my collection, so let's get to it. Okay, so got to go ahead and get this painted, and I have just been making like big mixes of the skin tone paint that I use, try and be a little more consistent. Even though I use the same stuff over and over, I want to keep using, I want to make sure I like kind of keep the proportions, so been doing that. Makes it a little easier with the heads, but gonna just add some layers to that as I go. To start out with this, I've got a few shades of gray like on this figure, so what I'm going to do is just kind of get a few layers on, and then once everything's all painted up, I'll spray it with sealer, and then I will cover it with the metallic silver that'll kind of bring it all together. But I'm going to be painting the like black I guess knee pads that are under the sleeves that he wore on his knee pads. So I'm going to just mark off that line, so I've got a nice straight line, and then I Dremeled all of the areas that would rub, so that they're not going to rub the paint off right away when I move this around a little bit. And then I'm going to paint it. I'm going to seal all of it, and then we'll get the knee pads and everything on. But you can see here, like in this picture, I already did a few layers of the gray, so now I'm just putting on the silver, and then I'll do that for the knee pads and the boots as well. And you can always try to paint the silver on straight away, but it doesn't cover very well, so having that flat gray underneath makes it a lot easier. Then again, it's all about putting on like watered down thin layers that makes it way easier to keep everything from rubbing. It's less sticky, it looks better. Just make sure if you are doing customs, you're watering down your paints. Especially I get Apple Barrel, those are the cheaper paints, so watering those down is a pretty big deal. But here's more, like I said, just gonna add the black on, and then decals are pretty straightforward, pretty simple with this. Just gotta add them on the knee pads, add them on the sides. I don't know what was going on with the video. I don't know why it cut like super close like that.
I don't know. I recorded this a bit ago, and that one piece of video just got a little wonky there, but it's hard to tell. I'm using this paint pen, or I don't know exactly what it's called. Just using that, it's a little bit easier to get the shoelaces. So I use that for the laces, and then I painted the black on the bottoms, and then I'll use a bigger brush to paint the like the actual sole of it. Here we go. Now this is where I thought I was doing the decals here. Just had to cut them so that they get that little chunk up on the top, and then gonna get it on the sides, and then we'll just have the knee pads that we need to finish as well. And I typically try to avoid painting knee pads, doing decals on knee pads, just because you move them around just a little bit, and they kind of like it's easy for those to chip, easy for those to get messed up. So one thing I'm going to do, I kind of went back and forth what color I was going to do the Jeff Jarrett hair. So I'm going to do like a light brown, and like if you look at like reference picture, resource, whatever you want to call them, old pictures of Jeff Jarrett, like his goatee, his facial hair is not like, it doesn't stand out a lot. So I'm going to use like a light brown, and then I'm just going to dry brush over it with a lighter color to just give it that kind of like bleached look, so you see it well, but it still isn't just like, so it's accurate as possible. And then again, you got to paint the eyes, so I'm just going to put the white in here, and then I'm going to use the same tool to just poke the color in there and get the black dots as well.
Okay, time to take a look at the finished product for my Jeff Jarrett, and I am very happy with this. Very happy with how this turned out. Let's adjust the camera a little bit here so we can really see him. I'm really happy with how the head turned out. I wasn't so sure about the hair, so I was trying to look up reference pictures, and with Jeff Jarrett, he really had like a buzzed look, but then the parts of his hair that were long were bleach blonde. So I wanted to be able to capture that that kind of color, and I feel like I did. One thing with Head Gimmicks heads are that the expressions, like they're a little more exaggerated, a little more cartoony than like House 14 does. I feel like House 14 is probably the most realistic when it comes to the heads, and then Head Gimmicks is probably the most cartoonish. I don't know, that might not, it's just more exaggerated. And then Headoration's kind of in the middle of those, and those three are the three that I just order from the most. So with that, you get like a lot of texture in the hair that's very exaggerated. So it's really easy to get a like dark color down there and then just dry brush over the top. And it made it really easy, I feel like, to capture that look I was going for with Jeff Jarrett. Sorry, the focus is all over the place there, but and then the goatee, like his facial hair just was not in real life, it just did not pop out a lot, and I feel like I still captured that well while still being able to see his facial hair. So again, I was really happy with that, and just overall I think the head scan is really nice. So happy with that. The formula, especially after seeing everything painted up, really happy with. I did put some McDavid decals on his knee sleeves underneath his knee pads. When I looked up, I was trying to look up pictures of like what brand were on his knee pads, and it seemed like he just had random ones. Like one of the pictures I looked up didn't even have the same brand, which isn't a big issue, but it bothers me personally. Like if I'm wearing something, I need to match brands, even if it's I don't know. Never mind. Forgot where I was going with that. Anyway, let's get back to talking about action figures. So, got the boots painted in their silver. The metallic silver really helps out this figure. When I just went over it with the gray, very plain, very flat, but obviously he had the metallic, and the metallic color that I have, it doesn't cover well if you just like paint it on by itself. But when you just do a layer, I don't even know if I did 2 layers. Did it just put a little bit over the gray that it was already there? Looked really good. And when you don't have to use a lot, then it doesn't like gum it up, doesn't make it sticky. So overall, like I'm just really excited about the Jarrett because I've wanted one for a long time. We were teased a little bit by Mattel with his Ultimate Edition that kind of fell through, but we got the decals on the sides. Just overall, really happy with this. Again, I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite customs, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. The vision came together perfectly. So that is going to wrap everything up for today's Work in Progress Wednesday. If you like what we're doing here, we've got 50 plus episodes you can go check out. We've got a full playlist of them. But other than that, please continue to like, share, subscribe. I always appreciate the support. And remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude out.